It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Teslas are designed, we've known this for a while now, their motors are designed for 1 million miles. So, but you're like, okay, that's great because there's not as many moving parts in an electric vehicle. It's basically just the motor, the controller, the things that are going to give you air conditioner, but it's just not a lot of moving parts, whereas a combustible engine has hundreds, thousands of parts that it can break and things can go wrong. So reliability is probably really great within an electric vehicle.
Sure.
The problem you run into is the battery.
Right.
You're like, well, batteries, surely they're going to have to be replaced. And that's going to be an expensive thing. So probably 8 to 10 years, you're going to have to change the battery out. So a typical car is, the lifespan is about 150,000 miles.
Okay.
I've already told you the motor on a Tesla can do 1 million miles, but the battery is the big question mark. Well, Elon Musk has been very aggressive. There have been patents filed. They've been doing tons of research trying to get cobalt out of the batteries because it's a very scarce resource. Yeah. It's hazardous. And then they've also are working, and they filed this patent. Now, it remains to be seen how this gets implemented. But they're talking about they believe they're on the verge of having a 1 million mile battery.
So if I'm thinking about cost of ownership and I'm comparing a Honda Accord that I know could perhaps last me for 200, maybe 300,000 miles if I'm that kind of driver, versus an electric automobile that could last me for 1 million miles, it's not going to be a close economic conversation anymore.
Well, and I think this is why you're seeing brands like Volkswagen and others that are saying we're just getting out of the combustible engine. We're going all electric. Is that this is a technology battle that, and look, I know you guys, I grew up, my dad, my brother restoring classic cars. This is not going to be popular to say, but owning an electric vehicle for 2 years now, it's a superior driving experience. Now, let me go ahead. I've given it all this praise. Let me tell you the negative to owning an electric vehicle. There's a reason my wife has a normal combustible engine SUV, and then I have my electric vehicle. Now, it's great. I never have to go get gas. I just plug it in every few days at the house. Gas stations are places that on road trips, you get snacks and drinks and go to the restroom. You're not having to stop there to fuel up. But road trips, speaking of, it's a little bit of a pain in the rear end a little bit with electric vehicles because you're going to have to charge for 20 to 30 minutes. Sure. Yes, it's great that they have Hulu and YouTube built into your big center screen, but it is one of those things where it's not a 5-minute endeavor or 10-minute endeavor where you gas up and get going. But we are on the verge. I mean, the Model S, they just had a breakthrough, is now can go 400 miles. When they get to electric vehicles going 450 to 500 miles on a one fuel up.
One charge.
One charge. I have to get my terminology. Remember, I grew up with a house full of gearheads, so it's hard to change those terms. We will be reaching a point where just your biological needs to stop, stretch your legs, walk around will probably be okay for you to charge for that 20 to 30 minutes because you'll want to eat, you'll want to go to the restroom, all that stuff. Right now, 200 to 300 miles of range, you could actually want to go further, but the car battery needs to be charged.
So one of the questions that I have, Ron, obviously, okay, there are downsides, but it seems like there are a lot of pros to electric automobiles, specifically the Tesla, specifically the entry-level Teslas, the Model 3s. Why isn't it common knowledge right now that, hey, it's certainly an alternative to luxury cars, but it's even a viable alternative to reasonable non-luxury automobiles. Why is that not just common right now, the common thought?
Well, I've dealt with this a lot, is that let me go ahead and give you one key thing that you've probably not noticed. Because there is bad press out there on Teslas.
Sure.
But here's something I bet you haven't thought about. Do I know any Tesla owners that don't think it's the greatest car they've ever owned? I haven't met one yet.
I know one Tesla owner that will not shut up about it. I hear about it all the time, how incredible this car is.
So what's missing here is here's what a lot of people probably don't realize until I say this. You're like, oh yeah, I've never seen one. Tesla doesn't advertise. Tesla spends $0 on advertising. Now, what makes that unique? The auto industry, the conventional auto industry, the legacy auto industry, in 2018 spent $35.5 billion. They're one of the top advertising sectors. So what does that do? How does the news media make their money. They say they want your eyes and your ears watching news or watching whatever they're putting in front of you on the TV, the radio, the newsprint, because they're selling advertising. So the sheer fact that Tesla doesn't advertise threatens their cash cow. Because imagine what happens to legacy auto manufacturers if they start losing money.
Sure.
They're not buying as many ads. Well, Tesla's already said we're not buying ads. So it really puts a conflict of interest. And here's something that I would put out there because I think it's kind of unique. Now, I've had people say, you must be a horrible decision maker because you bought these cars so close to each other. It was just a matter of, because I bought my wife's Audi, it was an SUV, in November of 2017, and then I got my Tesla Model 3 in April of 2018.
Okay.
So a lot of people, why did you stack the cars? I didn't. It's just when Tesla tells you your car is ready to build. Remember, nobody had Model 3s at the beginning part of 2018. I wanted to be on that early adopter status, so I wasn't ideal, but I did it. So I bought both cars. My wife's car is great on road trips. It's great on a technology standpoint from a 2017, 2018 standpoint, but it's actually not gotten any better.
It's a little antiquated probably now.
So the Tesla, I've gotten software updates. I get software updates probably once a month, if not even twice a month, where things are constantly improving. I'm getting more features added through over-the-air updates, which is pretty incredible. No car has ever done that for me. Think about every car I've ever owned, especially the luxury ones. You get them and you get the GPS. You're all excited about the GPS, and then it's only in year 2 that they're like, well, hey, we'll sell you an updated maps list for a few $100. Or like my wife's Audi. It was beautiful. It has this center display. It has a dashboard display. It has a center display, and they talk about the Google Maps. They talk about the connectivity. It wasn't until a few months into it that all of a sudden I get an offer in the mail. It says, "Hey, for $60 a month, we'll let you keep your Google Maps and your
so it didn't come with the car.
No, nobody told me this when I was buying the car. So now we have, it looks like it's 1983 in my wife's very expensive SUV because I refuse to pay $60 a month. So I'm back to 2D instead of the Google Maps. Now, look, a lot of you guys, because you're like, well, Tesla has a price too, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's $9.99. But not only do you get the maps, you're also going to get streaming services through Slacker. There's just a lot more connectivity that you're going to get. And for people like me that bought them so long ago, it was actually included. So this whole $9.99 is a new thing. But I think the hard part that the legacy auto manufacturers are going to have trouble with is that they don't improve. The car is the same the day you buy it as the day you trade it in, whereas Tesla, once you have over-the-air updates, you're like, why don't all cars do this?
It's actually improving over time.
It doesn't cost, like Audi. You can't tell me Audi has not done a better job with their navigation, with their safety, the self-driving features, the traffic control features, because I got all those gizmos on there, but yet it hasn't been improved because they want me to trade that car in, and believe me, I get solicitations constantly from Audi saying, come trade your car and we can keep your payment the same. Even though my car's been paid off for years, they think everybody finances because I think the majority of people are financing their vehicles, so they're trying to keep me on this rotation of trade your car in every few years to get the better features. Elon Musk, it remains to be seen if he's a good businessman because he definitely builds an awesome car, but I do worry about the fact if you build a car that lasts 1 million miles, where's the design obsolescence? I mean, because that's part of what auto manufacturers, but I don't think Elon cares.
Yeah.
I think he's figuring out, you know what? We'll have your car working for you. It'll be a taxi ride share. We'll do a 1 million mile car. You'll just go buy. You'll have 4 Teslas in your garage, and that you have working for you and doing all kind of things. Or maybe he thinks, hey, once we get Mars, there'll be a whole other planet to put cars on. I mean, who knows what Tesla is thinking? And that leads to kind of my closing point. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Here's a picture of my Model 3, and this is my referral code. A lot of you guys, oh gosh, I hate when people solicit the referral. I'm not really worried about the referral code from the miles because the miles will probably expire. I won't use them. Here's why I do give my referral code. If Elon Musk is ever going to know who Brian Preston is or Bo Hansen is, I do need you to use the code because I think that's the only way we're going to get on his radar because I do at some point, I'm hoping Elon or somebody within Tesla says, you guys obviously like the brand. Come tour the factory. Come out to Fremont. Let's tour it, or wherever they build the Cybertruck factory. That's the goal. I need this show to be so successful that we actually get to go get inside the machine and see how they make these things.
I love it. Let me tell you what I got excited about with this show, Brian. it did change the frame of how I look at Teslas. Because I was thinking, I got little kids. I don't want to buy a luxury. I drive a Honda Pilot, and I love my Honda Pilot, and I will have no desire to change it. But now, looking at the economics of it, comparing a Tesla to a Honda, and you better believe I'm going to do the Model Y relative to my Pilot to see how it measures up, it did make me think that perhaps this is more of a main street car than I had thought it was originally. And I think maybe perhaps as time moves on, it will become more and more of a main street car.
So guys, leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. And if this is something that after maybe you get a few months out, under our belts where we have a few more Tesla Model Ys on the streets, let us know if you want us to do a comparison of the Model Y as well. But I think that this, at least, if anything, will let people, because Tesla doesn't advertise, at least go, let me see what's going on over there. Because it is one of those things where I've never been, because my last car, I drove for 12 years. I mean, I am not a flip a car every few years. I think if you added up all the cars I've personally owned and driven, it's less than 5.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I'm 46
You're an old
years
guy,
old.
yeah.
So, I mean, cars, I don't flip a lot of them. So, but this thing has it's created a change in the way I process. These things are now more technology than they are vehicles because of all the software and everything else. So give us your questions. Give us your comments. We're still a financial show. I know we're probably going to get a few more because when we did the Tesla review shows, we just did that because I was so excited about the product, not because I was trying to become a Tesla YouTuber. But this is one of those things I love that I got to marry my passion for personal finance with what I'm experiencing with this Tesla. So give us your feedback as well as give us ideas you'd like us to run by. But also, if you're maybe one of these Tesla people that just found this because it popped up on your feed, go check out our personal finance content. I'm wired just like you, so you might find that you like it, and you'll want to figure out what the abundance cycle is. You'll want to figure out how you become part of the Money Guy family. But just hang in there. Let us know what you think, and we can't wait to keep creating content. I'm Brian Preston, Bo Hansen, Money Guy team, out.